Hello and welcome to Bill and Bear Cryptocurrency Analysis News and Education. My name is James Gore. This video is for the 15th of June 2018. Going to be jumping into our market update today, the technicals and the big three, and the coins you voted on in the last video to do some tier on today, and then news for the past 24 hours. It's quite interesting show today, and then straight to the comments of the last video. So first things first, total market cap is 284 billion USD, slowly creeping up back to the $300 billion mark. Again, very low 24-hour volume trading, 15 billion USD, with Bitcoin's dominance hanging around roughly the same level. We've lost 0.1% since yesterday. Scrolling through the top 100, we can see in the past 24 hours, it's a bit of a mixed bag, mostly seeing upside these past 24 hours, but only single-digit gains with some double-digit losses on the board as well. Biggest gain in the space have is Basic Attention Token, which is nice to see, up 14.08%, followed by Mithril, 11%, followed by Fusion, 10.5%. Biggest loss is Wakey Chain, back in the balls with 20% loss, followed by All Sports, a 7% loss. So we're going to quickly take a look at the BTC chart versus Coinbase on the daily. In this video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and its relationship with this dump from a futures perspective, and just what you can expect for a significant move moving forward. But we'll get to that in the news section. But generally speaking, we had decent volume on yesterday's candle. Just zooming in the charts right here, we can see, there we go, we can see we had relatively decent volume on yesterday's bounce, slowly creeping up to the 12 moving average exponential. But today we've seen a bit of a consolidation period. We've seen a bit of a pullback in the market, which again, if you watched yesterday's video, I did say volume is the key thing to watch here. Do feel this bounce maybe still I'm not 100% sold that this is a strong enough move just yet, and we've only seen one day of significant upside, so we're seeing pullback already. So the same scenario applies. I'd be looking at the 4-hour time frame just to see how the momentum is playing out on the charts at the moment. If we're starting to see momentum slow down with this move, and we can see we actually have increasing bull volume on this move up. We have decreasing bear volume on this consolidation period. We're starting to see support on the 12 moving average on the 4-hour time frame, so it's not completely terrible. It's just losing a bit of steam a bit early, but likely to set up. This is a bit of a bull flag right here. We can see we have breakout, we have the flagpole, then consolidation, upper and lower resistance, finding support on the 12 moving average. So it's likely, if we get increasing volume on this candle, we have an hour 25 minutes left before it closes. If we see greater volume on this candle compared to the previous candle, then we're likely to see a breakout to the upside later on in the day. So it's not looking terrible. It's just things have generally just slowed down a bit today. So ideal scenario, we close above the 6,450 USD mark. That is again above the triple bottom level. So if we do, fantastic. If we break below and start closing below, then I expect us to move back into oversold territory and actually have the actual bounce that we're looking for. That'd be basically have the bulls show up and take the reins, so to speak. But histogram's trending upwards towards the bullish, hasn't completely crossed over the signal line. Obviously it's a lagging indicator, but still it does indicate, does give us a bit of a sign where things are headed. Same with the RSI's momentum oscillator, so it shows us where things are headed in some respects. But again, overarching, still in a downtrend with the RSI if we just compare this overall downtrend at the moment. So moving on to Ethereum USD. FUSD, bit of a similar story, broken below the 507 USD mark, which is a level we're expecting to find some support. Didn't find it as resistance either. Bit of a stronger bounce move. We have much larger volume levels on yesterday's move to the upside. This looks like we're creeping up to the 12 moving average exponential as well. Similar story applies to the RSI and the MACD compared to BTC. Again, looking at the 4-hour time frame just to see what's happening, and we can see again consolidation period. Hopefully this candle right here, the 4-hour, closes with long lower wick and closes just above the 12 moving average exponential, just because it's a nice reversal candle, and we're seeing a bit of a similar thing, bit of a bull flag right here. So we have a pole and a flag, so there is potential for it to break out. However, we do need to see that increase in volume on the shorter time frames on some of this move upwards. So bit of a mixed bag here. So Ethereum, again, market's not seeing too much love today. It would have been nice to see another day of upside, but you kind of have to play the market as it is. Moving on to Litecoin again. Litecoin, bit of a weak bounce here. Decent volume, to be fair, on this candle yesterday, but not too much of a significant move in price action, which is absolutely fine. Again, RSI trending downwards, seeing a bit of a bounce, but again moving into a bit of a consolidation at the moment. So need to see if there's a bit of a momentum with this move, and we can see that we have decreasing bull volume on these moves up, but pretty flat bear volume these last two candles. Looks like we're about to see a nice breakout here on the 4-hour time frame, but again RSI is looking much stronger on Litecoin on the 4-hour here, looking a tiny bit better, but again Litecoin's not been performing that well this last week or so compared to the other coins. So again, wouldn't hold my breath. Moving on to Bitcoin Cash, again we're seeing a bit of a resistance here with BCH, bounced off this level previously as support, so it becomes resistance when we break below, and we're retesting it now. It looks like we're being rejected from this level, so being rejected from the 899 USD mark. Decent volume on yesterday's candle. Again, RSI is trending downwards. However, we haven't moved into oversold conditions just yet with the RSI. Looking at the 4-hour time frame to get a bit more detail, and we can see it's very choppy price action right here. Bit of breakout, sideways trading, consolidation, then another breakout, bit of sideways trading, consolidation, decreasing volume overall. RSI is trending upwards. Again, wouldn't be holding my breath. So the coin you guys wanted to take a look at is NEO. I'm seeing NEO and EOS. EOS finally had their mainnet launch, which is fantastic. Have a lot of interesting things on the horizon post mainnet launch, so it'd be nice to see how things develop. Going to remove this horizontal line from the chart so we get more of a clear chart, and we're going to go to the daily time frame. So looking at EOS on the daily time frames, very clear. We're facing some upper resistance here. We have multiple moving averages with the 12, 26, and the 50-day, all hovering at the 17,080 satoshis to the 17,560 satoshi mark, so roughly around the same level. And we broke above but closed below, which is absolutely fine, but it's a case of testing this level now and establishing a higher low, which we did yesterday's candle. Decent volume on these last 2 days candles, really good volume. So it's just a case of closing and breaking above this resistance level, then we're likely to see more of a price run. But until we break above that level, now I wouldn't really hold my breath. Where we are right now, we also have, just based on previous price history, at the 16,000, essentially 17,000 Satoshi mark. We're only 13 Satoshis off that level. We're at a level that's been rejected from once, twice, 3 times, been support once, twice, and rejected again 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, 8 times, and closed below yesterday. So obviously this is a significant resistance level. So if we are able to close above, fantastic. It means that we're likely to see a price run, but until then I would wait before I'd actually kind of make any decision with a trade on this one. But EOS is actually shaping up or looking to be in pretty decent position moving forward. It's not looking terrible, guys. Moving on to NEO, which we're going to look at NEO versus BTC. Oops, NEO BTC on Binance. And we can see NEO BTC has moved into scaling in territory, just continuous consolidation, not really seeing any significant upside for a while, moving into moving into oversold territory, and this is showing great signs of weakness for NEO at the moment. Again, moving into scaling in territory, but the bounce we can see yesterday was very weak for NEO, signaled a spinning top doji, which also happened to be an inside bar, which is just signaling the indecision. Generally speaking, you don't trade against the trend. We're in a downtrend, so not ironically, it broke bearish, which was to be expected. So the key thing to watch with NEO is if it's going to break below its previous low of 5,800 satoshis, which if it does, would be a interesting scenario to kind of watch, because we're moving into quite oversold conditions. Only 27 RSI, to be fair, but it is kind of shaping up to be decent for a trade pretty soon. But again, it's a waiting game to kind of see a shift of momentum before making a proper entry. So that's it for the news, for the TA section. We're going to move on to the news. So Fund Strats Thomas Lee talks about the weakness in Bitcoin is by futures expiration. And there was a very interesting article which I didn't cover, but I'll quickly go over it, from a few weeks ago, that was talking about how the impact of futures contracts being launched on any asset class immediately is followed by that asset class having a massive pullback. Okay, and if you remember, futures was announced, futures was launched, Bitcoin reached almost 20k and saw a massive pullback. And it's happened across the board with so many asset classes. It's just a pattern that happens. So I had that in the back of my mind when I was reading this. And interestingly enough, futures contracts do have a relationship with Bitcoin's price. Now these are cash settled futures, so Bitcoin isn't being traded, obviously. However, what's interesting is Thomas Lee has basically found that there's significant volatility when CBOE futures contracts expire. Okay, so there's a correlation between futures contracts expiring and a significant move either way. So it's not signaling that's going to be downside, just signaling a significant move either way, so upside or downside, when futures contracts expire. So this is a good piece of information to kind of keep in your back pocket, because it's something you can keep an eye on and incorporate in terms of your technical analysis with regards to Bitcoin. So according to Lee, Bitcoin usually sees a drop of 18% in 10 days before futures contracts expiration, with prices generally recovering by 6 days afterwards. Lee explained that if a trader is long on Bitcoin and the short futures, holders may sell large shares of BTC at the volume weighted average price as contracts move closer to expiring. Near expiration, however, they may sell the remaining Bitcoin, which causes the price to drop, and leaving the short position in the futures they close with a handsome profit. Hope that makes sense. So the way we can kind of play this is to kind of watch Bitcoin futures expiration on CBOE futures. So we had it open right here. I would actually love to have a website time with like a ticker. I actually had a website that had a countdown clock, but it didn't include CBOE futures on this website to various futures contracts, Bitcoin futures contracts. So it's a bit unfortunate in that regard, but if any of you guys know a website, because I was searching before making this video for about 10 minutes, I couldn't really find anything with my Googling, unfortunately. A website which has a countdown timer to the futures contract, CBOE specifically futures contract expiration. This would be really good for the community, so do let me know. Do leave a comment below. But we can see here the next futures contract expiration is on the 18th of July. So think around the 10th of July to kind of, you know, maybe set a reminder, maybe link back to this video or you know, this article. I'll leave a link to the article below. It's just worth paying attention to, because if this is the case and it's a pattern that we can kind of trade, fantastic. Any correlation we find is really useful when it comes to operating this space. And of course, you kind of need to take into context the broader crypto landscape as well when it comes to you know, what's likely to happen with regards to price movements. And of course, this is only in the current market conditions, in this bear market. In a bull market, it may be a completely different scenario, because Bitcoin futures haven't actually launched, operated in a bull market just yet. You could say the first month, but technically speaking, that's when the correction started. So that's when the downtrend really began. So interesting. So speaking of Bitcoin correlations, Bitcoin's broken ties with S&P 500 as prices diverge. So it's worth paying attention to traditional markets. I had a really cool conversation yesterday regarding this and the Dow Jones. And there's an interesting point to note, which I'll just quickly bring up right now. If we look at the Dow, there we go, and on the daily, and it's kind of in terms of market cycles, it's kind of in a phase where it's at the peak of a cycle where it's likely to start correcting. And of course, you know, there's been an expected correction or significant pullback in traditional markets for quite some time. I think it's predicted later this year or middle of next year, but it seems to just constantly be extended over and over again. And interestingly enough, Bitcoin is kind of the bottom kind of phase of its, before it starts rallying off to just more normal market conditions. So we're at like a top of one phase with one market cycle, at the bottom of another phase with another market cycle. So we were talking about this last night, and that it could be interesting to see if the kind of tide starts to shift, if money starts to leave the traditional space and move into crypto. These are one of the things that people have been saying is going to be a catalyst for the market to kind of grow and expand. But to give another point of view, we can see that in this article, basically suggesting that its correlation with S&P 500 has kind of has kind of diverged. S&P 500 has rebounded, it's bounced, but I'm not completely sure, because I think for S&P 500 kind of I don't completely agree with the article. It's good to get a different point of view, but S&P 500 kind of show that it's not about to correct. It needs to break above 2,872 USD. So it's worth paying attention to this as well, to see if it's going to be able to start rallying onto higher levels over the next couple of months. If not, then we may see a correction, which could positively impact the crypto space. And we shall see. People have been saying that there's other aspects that S&P 500 that's going to other than Bitcoin, that's going to have potentially a negative impact on that market. So just emerging markets other than the crypto space, because the crypto space is very small. But I definitely see money pouring in from traditional markets into the cryptocurrency space, especially if it starts just upticking over time. There's going to be a point where it just makes more sense to put money into this space than other markets, especially considering we're likely to, by that point, when I'm expecting it to happen, likely to be able to have the infrastructure in place where people can actually operate in this space that do come from that kind of traditional market background, and be more comfortable going through a kind of NASDAQ official crypto exchange as opposed to a Coinbase. Speaking of money pouring into this space, so Coinbase index funds opens for investments between $250,000 and $20 million. So this is big news for the crypto space. Obviously, this is more money entering crypto. And interesting enough with this fund is they'll actually have to hold the cryptocurrency that's proportional to the people investing. So, for example, to be fair, Coinbase does have a massive amount of a massive amount of crypto in its reserves offline as well, so they don't even need to reflect this when it comes to the charts, realistically speaking. But having 250,000 to 20 million kind of range for investors is really significant, because obviously having multiple different people looking to invest in this space, funds specifically, investing these levels of money, it's going to see a massive bump. I mean, $100 million, $200 million entering this space just via Coinbase, click of the button kind of thing, is quite a big deal, and it's opening the doors to more institutional money reaching this space without the need for ETFs. So ETFs from outside of crypto, which is what a lot of people are expecting to happen, to kind of be one of the catalysts that's going to trigger this bull run. So it's good news is happening, good news opening doors, laying the groundwork for enticing people to kind of enter this space and really commit some funds, which is likely to be pretty soon. Not pretty soon, but likely to be where the most opportunity is. So whenever we do reach bottom, whenever we do start to see a proper uptick and just consistent gains in this space, day to day, week to week, that's when we're likely to see a lot of people piling on again. So not from the you know, average investor, average consumer market, but from, you know, institutional space. So, because that's where the smart money is. So yeah, good news from fundamental perspective. Hope that was a bit informative in regards to Bitcoin. Let's move on to the comment section from the last video. So Impatient Potato, I like that name, says good job, James. Thank you, good sir. Gold Eagle, we did Neo TA. Big love to you, James. Keep on doing what you're doing, brother. See you in the next one. Thank you, Leonard Coolwell. Appreciate that. Good video, James. Thank you. How do you feel about Polymath? Polymath is the a crypto project that I am bullish on. Just to refresh my brain as to what they're doing. They're looking to tokenize securities. Yeah, future of securities. So Polymath enables trillions of dollars of securities to migrate to the blockchain. This is fantastic. I think it's, you know, I think it's only a matter of time, but I think they're really early with regards to what they're attempting to do, which could be seen as a benefit, but also a criticism, because timing is. I hate when there's notifications pop up. Timing is everything in some respects when it comes to deploying a project like this. So I think they're at a really good time where we can see that regulations at the moment, the regulatory framework, at least in the markets, they're starting to kind of, at least in Western markets, they're starting to kind of find footing. So I think Polymath is definitely going to have a significant role in the future. I do think it's a project that is worth at least doing your research on if you haven't learned anything about it yet, and consider it in your portfolio. It is a project I'm bullish on. It's just not something I hold because there's just too many coins to hold, literally. So I have to prioritize other projects and, you know, go for markets I have a bit more knowledge on. So that's how I feel about that one. Ethan Peterson says thank you. EOS, thanks. Covered EOS in earlier. Benny J. Johnson says, who are the 6 people disliking your content? Haters gonna hate. I'm a photographer and videographer, happy to film some content for you and London based. Love to meet you in any way. Sink a couple of pints and share a view in this space. Yeah, fantastic. I'm actually thinking about doing a meetup in London at some point. I just was thinking I'd wait till the channel got bigger because I didn't think many people would be located in London. But yeah, I'm definitely up for that at some point, especially now I have much more free time. That'd be really cool. And I appreciate wanting to help film. That'd be very cool as well. Benny J, if you could email me, or I don't know if you want to share your email. If you could email me, that'd be really cool as well. Or I could just get you on another platform, I think, on another platform. Leon Michel says, can you give insight on WAN chain? PS, do you watch cricket? I don't really watch cricket. I've been watching a tiny bit of cricket that's been going on right now, but it's not really gripping me. You know, it's just because it's on. World Cup's a bit more interesting because it comes once every 4 years. WAN chain. Talking about WAN chain interoperability, I'm just trying to remember. WAN chain's partnered with Ontology with Interoperability Alliance. WAN chain is another project that I actually quite like, but again, I prioritize other coins. I know WAN chain recently has now partnered with another crypto project. I read this yesterday or the day before. That's going to be kind of the surface layer kind of delivery aspect for what they're looking to attempt to do. But private cross-chain smart contracts, something that's so necessary, so necessary for the crypto space, and I do think is going to have significant impact in the future. But when it comes to holding the token, what utility is the token going to have? You know, from an investment perspective, if we're just purely looking at, you know, the monetary, let's make money from crypto kind of aspect, what role is the token going to have? What kind of growth is this project going to have? Those are the kind of questions that I would think about, and I haven't actually read the white paper in that much depth for this project. It's one of those. It's another project that's just on the list. I just need to kind of dig deeper into, and you guys suggest so many awesome projects, and at the moment I am, you know, I am focusing on the TA course. That's my primary focus because it's going to be released this Sunday or Saturday depending on the day, and so that's kind of my main focus. But then I'll be like deep diving into some white papers to kind of find some quality projects for you. NY Wanker says, great show, James. Would you be able to take a look at BNB USD, please? Looking forward to see you on Slack more. Let me take a quick look at BNB USD. And I have some ideas for Slack moving forward. Binance versus Tether. Yeah, bullish chart. bullish chart. We have multiple inside bars in a row. We have a coin that's finding support on the 26 moving average exponential. It's broken above the 12. Looks like it's going to close above the 12 today. Long lower wick, setting higher lows, series of higher lows, and inside bars. So again, I'd wait for this candle to close, that unless it breaks the pattern, and look to make an entry based on which way it's breaking, with confirmation of volume. Volume is very decent on this as well. So let me quickly look at the 4-hour time frame, just quickly check the previous candles. And yeah, it's not terrible. It's looking decent. So yeah, and to be fair, it depends if you're looking for a trade or long-term hold. I think Binance Coin Binance Coin is going to be used in multiple different ways by Binance. I saw an interesting report on Binance Coin showing that people are holding Binance Coin as they're making much more riskier decisions because they're using it to basically for fees. But I would argue the flip side of that is that Binance Coin actually has more relevance because it's going to be part of a decentralized exchange from Binance. It's going to be used over there. It has some other aspects with the Binance fund, so you actually need to buy Binance coins to participate in this fund. So, you know, it's going to have utility moving forward. So it already has utility. It's used for, you know, reduced fees on Binance. Keep going, bro. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate that. This is a comment for operating your great videos. Oh, thank you, Mr. No Name. Appreciate that. Can you check back in with the bubble cycle on where we are currently? Feels like despair returned to mean. Nice move and going full time. Happy for you, man. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. And class, last comment. So I'll quickly, let's see, cheat sheet. Let's see. I think it's a cheat sheet. There it is. So this was literally the same conversation I had yesterday, which was awesome. Feels like despair returned to the means. Let's quickly see, where's despair, return to the mean, disbelief, anger. So I'd say we're around here right now. We're moving on to depression, waiting for that final low to kind of kick into gear, and then we can start seeing a bit of a bounce, bit of an uptrend, some sideways trading, and then just creeping up. And then this is a sucker's rally. So the minute. So honestly, the minute Bitcoin starts rallying like this, I'm gonna pile on, so just go a bit crazy, because I am kind of waiting for that final low, that final kind of drop, and it looks like we're kind of there. We're almost there. It feels like it. I know a lot of people think the same thing as well. My final kind of target, just to kind of see, is $5,500 with BTC, and worst case scenario, if I just add this on here, 4,900. So just because if we just look at previous price history, these are some levels we have a lot of sideways trading right here in this level. They broke above, broke below, bounced off as well, and started rallying on parabolic curve. But just looking back here as well, we have some levels that we can deal with. I really can't see Bitcoin going below 5K anytime soon. Some people are calling for 3,800. Some people are calling for 1K. I think that's unreasonable just based on the previous price. That would put Bitcoin back to where it was, you know, around, you know, just the start of last year. I think Bitcoin started last year. Where was it? What price was it? Yeah, it was $1,000. So, you know, it's an interesting one, very interesting. But yeah, in terms of where we are with regards to market cycles, yeah, we are. I do kind of think we're hovering around this area right now, just before we see the final drop, and then start rallying onto some sweet, crazy, euphoric highs again, something ridiculous. So that's it for today's video, guys. I really do appreciate the comments. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and comment, and of course leave a comment below for any coins you want me to do technical analysis on in the Saturday video, or any comments you have with regards to Bitcoin's correlations we spoke about in today's video, or if there's any other correlations you see with Bitcoin and any other aspects for other markets, or anything you've noticed, do share that with the community, because that way we can kind of educate and help each other. Don't forget to, if you want to support the channel, there's links below ways for free, ways that you can do so from $1 a month. Any support I do appreciate, and I'd just like to say thank you for watching. Hope you have an amazing day, and I shall see you very soon in the next video. Wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you for watching that video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to watch the last news video. There's videos on the left to watch the last educational video. There's videos on the right. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up via the referral links, donate crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, or Dash, or support via Patreon. See you in the next one. All the best.